Alright guys, let's talk back about Python. So for example, if I wanted to display variables, okay, Python is very intuitive. If I have a first name and a last name and I have something here, and let's make a variable, let's call it age, and I say age, and let's just say age is equal to 40, okay, 40, and I can separate these values and I say, okay, pardon me, I have to just delete that. So I say age equals to 40, and I say let's value, let's print age, and then let's close the brackets. What's going to happen now is Python's going to say Jack Cornwall 40. And notice these are all different variables. If you remember from what we said in the last time, this is string, string. This one here is string as well, so string. But this one is an integer, and a comma separated value like we used in separating printing them out, the first, the last, and then age, we use a to denote that here. The comma separated value says, oh Python, these are different values, but the user wants to output them on the screen, so could you do something nice for us? Could you separate them with a space and then print them out? And Python says okay, and then it runs it for us. But then let's now go back out of this and let's say in string we wanted to just combine the strings alone. There's a pretty neat thing we can do with Python, and we can use, instead of this command, now I'm going to take away this command real quick, and I'm going to say, hey Python, add my first name to my second name. Okay, and but now we notice how Python is not really smart. So when I print out this thing now, it's going to give me Jack Cornwall, and it gives me together as one word. And you see, Python is not so smart. So what we can do is we can say, hey Python, you printed out my first name and second name quite literally. How about you add a little space in between instead? So we can put in a space here and we say, hey Python, put in a little space, add a little space, then add my first name to my last name. And then what Python is going to do for us is going to be smart and say, oh sorry, you meant Jack Cornwall, and then it works fine. So that's a pretty neat thing we can do, and it's called, let's get that down. When we use a plus symbol like that, it's called combining. Okay, it's called combining strings, or we can call that concatenating. Okay, concatenating. My handwriting is terrible, I'm sorry. Concatenating strings. But concatenating is spelled CONCATENATING. Okay, combining. But that's just what it does. Now, this combining can be very useful. Okay, can you guess the uses of when combining is useful? For example, let's say I want to greet somebody. We can say, hello there, hello there, hello there. Oh, let's make our there a smaller letter T. I'll say hello there, Jack, and then I can come here and add, put a plus sign here as well. Say plus space, and I say plus first name, and then I come out here and say hello there, Jack Cornwall. That's what's going to print off for me when I run this. So we combine text, but notice I made a mistake. I didn't put a space after, so we have to be very careful. So hello there, first name, but we didn't add a space. What we can do is immediately after the there, knowing that Python is quite literally going to add it without any spaces for us, we are going to say add a space. And it's kind of weird, but we have to add a space so that when we print it out on the screen, it gets formatted nicely. Okay, so hello there, Jack Cornwall. Now, this kind of thing kind of makes our print statement so long and unreadable. So we can call it, we can bring that all out. Okay, you can bring out that all out. Let me just copy to this extent. I'm having those issues copy. And then we can say, you can make a new variable, and we're going to call that variable greetings. Greetings, like an alien. Greetings. Don't mind, you should just use greeting. I was just trying to be funny. Greeting, and what you're just going to do is you paste it here. Hello there, first name, last name, and some of the things that we omitted. For example, um, oh, that's all. Okay, so we print, and let's take away this e, because if we print out this e, it will think we have a variable called e somewhere, and we don't have one. We have first name, last name, age, and greeting. So let's take that out and let's run the code again. And nothing happens because we forgot to print out our greeting. So we're going to say print greeting, okay? And then when we print greeting, it says hello there, Jack Cornwall. Cool, pretty cool. So it makes you shorten the whole long text into this. Now, something that could have happened wrongly if we did, notice it recognizes this kind of thing plus first name. But if we say print plus age in this case is integer, and this one's a string. If we try to say print age, what it's going to say, it's going to give us an error, okay? It's going to give us an error, and we can quickly run that and see. So when we have here is called a traceback, and what a traceback essentially is Python goes through our line of code and tries to figure out where the error occurred, and it notices here that the error occurred in line 4. And what did it say? It says that it's a type error, meaning that we have an integer, okay, and we're trying to add an integer to something that is of a character value, which is called a string, okay. Like just in the same way as you can't add yes, you can't add something like maybe a string junior. You can't say junior plus 57 equals to junior 1057 or something like that. It just doesn't make sense. So Python is telling you, hey, that doesn't make sense. So we can correct that and say, hey, we've learned something new today. We can't, in fact, um, add use an addition symbol to age. Okay, what we can do is we can use a comma, but when we use a comma like that, Python tries to help us out by separating it. It gives us this kind of strange formatting. So we're going to talk about that later on. So that's how to fix that. Bye for now.